feet underwater.
Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Bacon. Welcome to the show, y'all. I got a friend of mine that I'm going to be talking to today. His name is Cecil Anderson, a.k.a. Lil Man. I've been knowing this brother for a long time, right? And when we ran back into each other, man, I was intrigued at, when I saw him, he done got fat as all get out, but when I saw him, it brought back a lot of old memories of the things that we used to do back in the day at the other facility that we were at. And I just wanted to sit down and talk to him and see where he was at, because I think he's got a lot of things that he could say about the lifestyle. He's affiliated, Crip, and I'm going to let him get into that, a little bit more into detail when we talk. But he told me he's currently inactive, but we're going to talk about that too. You know what I mean? What that really means and all of that kind of stuff, right? But, look, man, you got anything you want to say before we get going? Introduce yourself to everybody, whatnot?
My name is Cecil Anderson, a.k.a. Lil Man, born and raised in Franklin, Tennessee.
Okay, then.
And currently doing a 10-year sentence.
Okay. Well, dig it. Okay, dig it. Now, let's just get into it, man. How many times you been in prison?
I've been in prison off and on about 5 or 6 times.
Mainly drug charges, stuff like that.
Robbery charge,
all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Dig that. Now, here's my thing, man. Well, how old were you when you first started coming to prison?
I was 18.
18?
Yeah.
How old were you when you first jumped off the porch?
When I first jumped off the porch, I was about 11 or 12 years old.
11 or 12 years old?
Yeah.
And how old were you? Were you affiliated before you came to prison?
No.
You were not?
Affiliated. No, I wasn't.
You were not. You crippin'?
Crippin', yeah.
What set you on?
87 Kitchen.
Kitchen Crip. Look at y'all all to see his face. I wish I could show you his face. You know what I'm saying? He don't know whether to be surprised or spooked. You know what I mean? But, I can hear the nervousness in his voice now, but we're going to let this thing roll, right? Y'all give him, make him feel good when you hit him up with the comments, okay? But here's the thing, bro. I want to ask you, I said, when we got into it, and I sat down to talk to you about this, I wanted to get into the heart of the matter as to, why you became affiliated and how that came about. What made you want to become a gang member?
What made me become a gang member was basically I was born the only child, man. I had no brothers, no sisters, and I met this brother named Lil Joe Capone from Memphis, Tennessee. Let him rest in peace.
Yeah.
And I got with him and started mobbing with him on the compound, and he was kitchen and the love that they showed me, it wasn't all just about gang banging. It was, brotherly love, you know what I mean?
Man, describe that for me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that listens to my show know my former life, with GD. Everybody that listens knows that, right? But I always want, I don't want to interject too much of how I define that on any particular person I interview. But when you say they showed you love, what did that mean to you? They showed you love in what way?
They showed me love and, being there for me when nobody else was there for me, and they helped me learn things about life.
Like what? How were they there for you?
They were there for me. Like I ain't have no brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? If I needed anything, they took care of me. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of. It's different kind of love that they show you, you know what I mean? But it's not all about the bad. It's a lot of good that come along with it too. We're gonna
talk about that, but let's go ahead. You say a lot of good. What you mean?
The good part about it, man. It just it's not they're trying to help you just stay in here. They're trying to help you get out of here too. You know what I mean? They ain't trying to just hold you hostage in here because you a gang member. What you is with them. They your brother, man. They want to see you do good to get out there to help the homeboys that got life sentences in the penitentiary. They help to give back to them so they can try to get lawyers and stuff to get out of the penitentiary. You got brothers It's just not in Tennessee. It's nationwide, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that too, right? I do. I really do understand that, right? But I want people to have an honest understanding of the lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm open and honest about, you know what I'm saying, my life.
Yeah,
And
it's a lot.
so when you say to help the homeboys and all this and that, how do you reconcile the way we used to live, right? The way I used to live, the way when we was up at the other facility together. How do you reconcile that with doing good? Because we were doing.
I was
We was out of control. That's my assessment.
But
you know what I mean?
I was out of control. You know, you snatched me back a couple times. You know, to say, hey man, we got y'all out of control. Slow down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, you know, it's got its ups and downs in there, man. You know what I mean? You know, you got different kind of attitudes, different personalities that come along with all this, you know what I mean? And you have your good days and your bad days, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes sometimes you don't even want to be bothered with your own kind, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's
So how do you deal with your brothers when you are in those moods where you don't want to deal with them? How does that go?
I basically on my behalf, if I don't feel like being bothered, I let them know, man, it's not a good day, man,
Right.
and I stay to myself, you know what I mean, or I go to my room or something, you know, because I got a bad temper, you know what I mean. You pretty much know that, and
I know,
and I just try to better myself, but trying to keep control of my temper.
So how does the family that you belong to, the gang family, how does that help you with your temper?
Oh.
Do you think overall? Let me just ask you like this: do you think overall being in a gang is positive or negative? And you don't have to see it the way I see it. You know what I'm saying? I just want to know honestly how you see it, bro.
It's got this. It can affect you both ways. It's got its negative ways and it's got its positive ways. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Give me a couple of the negative things about it.
The negative things is when you got to go put your work in. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
What's that mean to you? Because they might not know. What does that mean?
Put in work is mean when you got to go out and do things that other
illegal.
People, illegal. Yeah.
You don't have a choice. You got to go.
No, you got to go when you get your call and it's time to go. It's time to go. You know what I mean?
Okay. Now give me a couple of things that's positive then.
Your positive things, you know, it's like we help out the people that's just down and out. You know what I mean? We help out we try to show the kids and don't be like us in our community. Don't be like us. Don't grow up like us. We don't want our kids to be the same thing that, you know what I mean? I don't want mine to. You
don't want your kids to
grow up.
So let me ask you then. So, because I asked you earlier, how do you reconcile that? I want to know, how do you set an example for your kids and live the lifestyle at the same time? It's
hard. You know what I mean? It's real hard.
Do you hide
I don't hide my affiliation from them.
You don't?
No, I let them know.
Okay.
I let them know. You know what I mean? Because eventually one day they're going to be all grown and to make their own decisions. Right. You know what I mean? But
what do you tell them
I tell about this right here is I don't do it all the time in the world for my kids. You know what I mean? Right. And I am what I am. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And I try to let them know, don't follow my foot track, because I already don't put work in for all of them. You know what I mean? And I want to see my kids. They got to live their life though. But I tell them, like they like sports and all this type of stuff. I'd rather see them go that way, because I was good in sports and all that, and I jacked my life out by going to the streets, putting my life in the streets. You know what I mean? So I'd rather for them, instead of me telling them don't waste a good thing to go this way. You know what I mean? So I'd rather see my kids go through school, get their education, go to college, play sports or whatever they want to do.
How did your moms find out about you being affiliated?
I called on the telephone and told her.
You told her?
Yeah.
What was her reaction to that?
She said, I told you not to join no damn game.
You not to do it. You did it anyway.
I did it anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So she was disappointed.
She was disappointed, but she said, you know, you did it, so you got to live with it. You know what I mean? You made that choice, you know what I mean? But she told me, I'm still your mama either way, whatever you go, you know what I mean? I'm still your mama, you know what I mean?
So I get that too, right? So any of your kids, how old is your oldest child?
30.
30.
Yeah.
Well, you started young, then. Good Lord. Me and you both. So, are any of your kids affiliated? Did what you try to discourage them from work?
I got a son that's GD.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it didn't work for me either.
Yeah.
Being a part of something, no matter how much you tell them not to do it, they listen to what's being said about you in the streets and in the penitentiary.
And they be want to
follow.
live. They want to live up to your name. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But I don't want them to don't live my name.
Exactly.
Make your own choice. Make your
right.
own.
But I think it's I think we're not being totally honest with ourselves or with them when we think that we can belong to an organization and not expect them to be curious.
Are they curious? They ask questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, they ask questions.
Because we say don't do it, and then they say, well, if it's good enough for you, then it's good enough for me.
Yeah. But see, I got another son, Joe T, and he's a preacher.
Come on now.
He graduated from college. He got his master and bachelor degree, and he lived in Nashville. And
get it.
Yeah, and I left him a long time. I didn't see him until he was 18 years old. You know. And we got together once I got out of prison.
Yeah.
And he told me he was mad at me for a long time, but he understood my lifestyle and he forgave me for that.
You purposely stayed away from him?
No, I didn't purposely. I was locked up.
You were locked up.
Yeah,
and so he missed you.
I missed his
presence.
Yeah. But he forgave me, and then and that it touched me. You know what I mean? And then, man, now me and him we real close, and
yeah,
he's doing real great. He's great, man.
He's out there preaching.
Yeah, he's a preacher. Yeah,
that's what's up, man. That's what's up. So how does it make you feel to have a son that's totally opposite of what you?
Hey, man, that made me. It made me feel good, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It made me feel good.
Yeah. I'm sure it did. So, how is you still participate somewhat? Look here, this is what he doing, y'all. He done rubbed his nose and put his head down, right? So I'm gonna put that down as I don't know. I ain't gonna answer that or whatever the case may be, but I get it because in the situation that we're in, sometimes it's hard to answer those questions because we can be punished in some kind of ways for being honest, but and I think that's why it's so hard for us to be honest in here. You can't really get help to see things in a different way when you can't be honest.
Right.
It's nothing illegal about being in a gang. I don't condone it, but there's nothing illegal about being in a gang. But being in a gang and being in prison, they hold that against us. You know what I'm saying? They don't put up, an option for us so we can walk away from the lifestyle and be okay. It's all punitive towards us, right? So I understand why he's hesitant to answer that question, and I would hope that y'all understand why he would be hesitant in answering that question as well. But let's move on from that. You don't recommend that your kids, you wouldn't want any of the other kids of yours to do this, right? Mm-hmm. So what would you say to those parents that might have a child that's already decided to be a part of the game? What would you say to them?
What would I say to them?
Yeah.
They're
struggling. Let me paint the picture for them. They're struggling. They don't like the fact that their child is in it, but they're in it, right? And no matter what they've said to them, the child is pulling away from them and getting closer to the org, right?
Right.
So what advice would you give that parent in a situation like that?
Me, I would tell that parent to just let him go and let him go for a minute and let him make his own decisions. I would let him go. I would let him go.
And if they let him go, give me some examples. Give them some examples. What could happen to him? Because why do you recommend that they let him go?
Because if you keep trying to stop him, he's gonna keep going anyway. You know what I mean? You're gonna push him closer and closer to him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So let him go. Let him make his own decision once he get off in that. He gonna go to them and let them, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling this. Mm-hmm. And what can I do
Yeah. So okay, but let's get to that then. Okay, like the parent lets them go, right?
Right.
And they go their way and they do what they do. At that point, what you're saying, what I hear you saying is that if they've already joined the game,
They in it.
they're in it.
Right.
It's nothing that the parent can do anyway to affect that.
No, he gon'
So you got to let them.
You got to
follow that course.
You got to let him go his course. Right.
Okay. Before I get to the next part of that question, now I'm gonna go ahead and answer the part, and then I get back to what I want to say. So the parent lets the child go. They go on and do what they do. Okay. And how did your mother say to you, because I know you said a few minutes ago she didn't want you to do it, you did it, but she said, remember, I'm still your mother.
Right.
What do you think she meant by that?
She still, I don't care what
you're going to still listen to me.
You're going to listen. I'm your mama. You know what I mean? Right. You're going to listen to me.
Okay.
You're going to do what I tell you to do.
Okay. So is that what when you talk about the parent letting the child go, do you think that it would be smart for the parent to let that child know I'm still here? Because that's what I think.
Yeah. You always let your child know that you still there for him, even though he don't made a bad decision in life. You still love him. You still there, even though you don't made a bad decision.
And how important was that for you when your mom let you know that?
It let me know that she let me make my own choices
and live with the consequences.
And live with the consequences. You gonna learn.
And she loved you anyway.
And she loved me anyway.
Yeah.
And she's still here today.
Yeah.
All right.
That's right. And a lot of those kids out there that have made that decision, a lot of parents push them away and don't want nothing to do with them.
Don't want. That's the worst thing. That's the worst thing they can do is.
Yeah, the bad decision been made.
Yeah. The worst
decision's been made.
Worst thing
anyway.
Worst thing to do is walk out their life. You walk out.
Why? Why is that the worst thing?
If you walk out their life, they gonna turn into they gonna be the terriblest kid or
they gonna go hard.
They gonna go hard, and they gonna be bad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. They gonna go hard. So you need to stay there. It's kind of like the story in the Bible about the prodigal son.
Right.
You let them go.
Let them go.
And they'll be back.
They'll come back home.
You did your job in the right way.
You'll come back
home.
They'll
be back.
You come back home.
Okay. Now, what do you say to the parent that's struggling right now that their child hasn't made that decision? What do you recommend the parents say to them to get them to not do it? Because I know you said your mama told you when you went out to the pension, don't you join no game, but you did it anyway, right?
Right.
Now, here's a different scenario. You got a parent with a child at home. They ain't in no trouble. They might be going to school, and there's a lot of gang activity out there in these schools. What do you say to that parent that wants to discourage and keep her child away from joining the game? What advice would you give that parent?
I get that parent to tell her kids to stay around more positive kids and get in more programs and keep to stay in them programs.
And why is that important? Why do you think that's important?
Because programs, it's something they depend on every day. They got things they something to do instead of they going out there on the street and being with this clique and that clique. Or drug dealers or anything, man. You know what I mean?
So when you were growing up, it sounded to me anyway, like you had a good mother.
Yeah.
You feel me? What was your father?
My father had a good father. You know what I mean? He was in my life whenever I need him. You know what I mean? And he was.
So you had a good situation. Yeah. It wasn't a bad situation.
No, it wasn't no bad situation. I made my own choice. You know what I mean?
You made your own choices. So, but did you have anything to do? Because you were alluding that
I was playing sports, but I was also living in the projects. You know what I mean? I was seeing drug dealers, and all type of stuff going on. So I was curious. So that made me wanna sell drugs.
You were curious about what you saw.
So what I saw, yeah.
So so everybody can't live in the suburbs. So you know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't got the same financial status. So a parent is doing the best she can, living in the hood. You know what I'm saying? I call the bricks, and their child is seeing it. What would you say to them? What do you tell them? Because they're seeing the same thing you saw.
But see, some of them kids got a good support group from the schools. They help them stay away from.
Tell them to get in that time.
Get in these activities, after school activities. They keep them when it's time, when it's dark, it's time to go home, do your homework. You know what I mean, and all that. So that's what you tell them kids. That then you got some of the best kids that's in the bricks that just playing sports.
Yeah,
and you got your drug dealers and you got your gang bang. We support them. Cause we don't want them to, hey, you know,
Yeah.
give them a little, you know, allowance and stuff like that.
Go on the way.
Yeah, don't do this. When I see you out here on this block,
yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Better get on and how to do your schoolwork. You need a ride to practice or anything. We get you there.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel you. I disagree with that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? The reason I say that, well, I keep it 100.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, with my listeners and anybody that I talk to, and I'm gonna tell you why, because you know. It's like, you know how it's do as I say, not as I do?
Yeah.
Well, you know, that would get a lot of kids. So kids are young and curious. And even if you tell them not to do something, they see you doing it. They keep saying to themselves, if it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me.
That's how I was.
Yeah. And that's why I say that's a problem. And I get where you're coming from about you not wanting them to do it and all this and that. But you got to remember you're dealing with a child's mind.
Right.
And they're not fully developed. And they'll think the opposite way of what you want them to think, and it always leads to something negative. But look here, I'm gonna ask you one more question, and then we're gonna wrap this up, man. I hope we can do this again and follow up on some other things, because I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of good questions coming out of this. You reluctant a few minutes ago to answer the question of whether you still do what you do, and I get it.
Right.
So what do you see yourself in 5 years, man? When it comes to this lifestyle, what do you see yourself in 5 years?
Me seeing myself in 5 years, man, is out there with them grandkids, working, taking care of them. My wife passed away, so I promised
Sorry to hear that, bro.
I promised her I'd take care of them kids and them grandkids, you know what I mean? So that's my main goal, is to get there, to take care of them kids and be there for my moms. And be there for I got to be there for myself first, you know what I mean? Because I got to still work on myself. Get a job, man. Stay positive, man. Stay around positive people, man.
So do you think that you can do that by being a part of a gang? Be real.
There's nothing wrong with being a part of the game, man, but you know your part in the game, and you know what's right and what's wrong, man, and you know.
But if you get the call, you said you gotta go.
Yeah, you get the call, you
so
gotta go. So
you got to take care of them grandbabies, and you get a call in the middle of the night. What you do?
I'm going to go. I got to go, cause for the simple fact. But really now, true enough now that I'm at the age.
Don't be trying to create no back door.
No, I'm at the age now.
Right.
I'm 50 years old.
You won't get that call.
No, you got.
Y'all hear that? This man 50 years old.
Yeah, and it's just
you wouldn't get the call. That's basically what you're saying.
Basically,
but if I do,
you gotta go. You know what I mean? And I know
because you made a choice.
I made a choice years ago to put myself to dedicate my life to this. You know,
and that's the whole crux of this interview that I want people to walk away with. You know, you would hope that in life, man, that you know if you make a bad decision or a decision that commits you to something that is dangerous, that you know, one day you could make a different decision. But that's not the case for everybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So what I would say to everybody out there that's listening to this, man, is be careful of the decisions that you make.
Right.
Because you might lock yourself into something that ain't no easy way out.
That's right.
Ain't no easy way out. You got to make it do what it do.
You got to make it do
you know
what it do.
I appreciate you doing this, bro.
I appreciate you.
I hope we do this again.
All right.
This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.
I've been trying to breathe underwater.